What's going on, people? It's the Bear here once again. And when I do these videos, I'm basically showing you the proof of something, the factual evidence of something. Anything that I show in my videos that you see is the factual evidence of something. That's just what I do. That's how I've been doing it. That's how I'm going to continue to do it. I show you factual evidence of things and then let you decide for yourself. Here's factual evidence. See, Halo Wars 2 was hyped up like no other. It was overhyped. You know what I'm saying? I don't see how a game that's a real-time strategy game can be so overhyped the way this game was. And it was. Because Xbox fans has been looking for a game to play. And the best y'all got right now is Halo Wars 2, I guess. I don't know. I never been into a real-time strategy game. I never have been in my life. I really haven't. I mean, even if PlayStation came out with a real-time strategy game, I wouldn't buy that. I never been into real-time strategy games, But what I'm showing you in this video, you would expect, because of this game was so overhyped and stuff like that, you would expect this game to be in the 90s. There's MetaCritic, the meta score to be in the 90s or something like that. And the user score to be in at least the 80s, right? It's in the 60s. You know what I'm saying? It's in the 6.0, not 60s, but it's a 6.0, which is basically in the 60s. It's 6 out of 10, which to me is pretty bad. It's rentable, but it's not to buy. It's rentable if you're in the real-time strategy games. And I think what Microsoft is basically doing is trying to get people over into thinking outside of shooters and the Call of Duties and the Battlefields and trying to get them into doing something different. That's why they got all these commercials and all this. It was an overhyped game. It was an overhyped game. Seriously. But when I see a 6.0 as a rating, I see that as rentable, but it's also a flop as far as buying the game. And I haven't, let me tell you something. If I was an Xbox fan, right? If I was back to being an Xbox and I didn't even buy a PlayStation and I wanted to play something that's exclusive to the Xbox, and I go to GameStop and they basically pushing out this Halo Wars 2, I would ask them, a person that's been a shooter and a person that plays mostly RPGs. I'm a shooter and RPG gamer, okay? Fallout 4, Skyrim, things like that, And I'm also a little into the Call of Duty, but I don't like the Infinite Warfare and the Battlefield 1 and stuff like that. I mean, But I'm into shooters and I'm more into RPGs. I'm more into RPGs than anything else. And a GameStop employee tries to tell me, if I was in the Xbox, the GameStop until I go to GameStop and they tell me, because I'm looking for some games to play. I want to see what y'all got. What kind of games to play for me to play on the Xbox? You know what I'm saying? To get me out of the genre that I've been in for so long. And they tell me, well, we got this Halo Wars 2. I mean, it's a real-time strategy game. And if you're into that kind of thing, maybe, if you haven't been into that type of thing, maybe it's a game to check out. And I sit there and I ask them, is this the best that Xbox really has right now? because you're trying to, you're a GameStop employee that's trying to get me into a real-time strategy game. You're really going to have to really get me into buying something that's out of my element. This game here is out of my element, And Xbox, Microsoft, Phil Spencer is trying to get people into doing real-time strategy now. As an Xbox fan who's not into this type of a genre, and there's no other games to play besides Gears of War 4. In the first quarter of 2017, and mostly in the second quarter of 2017, there's no other game that's really coming out besides this, and I think Crackdown and Sea of Thieves and stuff But this is it right here. Halo Wars 2. So, okay, so let's say, for instance, right, the guy at GameStop, I go into GameStop and I'm an Xbox fan and stuff, and he convinced me to go and play this real-time strategy game, okay? I go home, I play this damn thing. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, setting up this, setting up that, and I'm trying to find some kind of enjoyment into this. But I say, man, this game is just too damn confusing. It's just too damn confusing, and it's not really that fun. So I buy it on the 21st or whatever the game come out, and then I take it back. Because I say, I'm not into real-time strategy games, and I know you tried to convince me to get out of the shooter element and the RPG element that I'm in, but I'm not into real-time strategy. I found this game very confusing. There's going to be a lot of people like me who would do the same thing, which I heard has already happened. People have already took this game back because if you haven't played the first one, if you're not into that, if you haven't played the first one, how you going to force people to get the second one? You know what I'm saying? The only small group of people that may like this game is the ones that's played the first one who's already into the RTS element, the RTS genre, like XCOM. You know what I'm saying? You may love this game. If you like Halo in general, you're going to love this game, I guess. But if you're not into it, this game is going to be confusing. I've seen the trailer and I'm looking like, man, oh man. I never been into that type of game. I never has been. And this is what as good as it gets for the first quarter, second quarter of 2017. This is it. Halo Wars 2, this is it. So this just goes to show, officially, without a doubt, and looking at the user score, I'm right about this. This is without a doubt that is basically telling all you Xbox fans that there's really no games to play. There's none. Halo Wars 2 is a flop. I'm sorry. It's a flop. So, I guess y'all gonna have to try those Japanese games that Phil Spencer wants to push out. And if you're into that, that's what you got. Because Phil Spencer is trying to take you out of something that you're used to and try to put you into something that you're not into. That's as good as it gets for the Xbox. So, I don't know, y'all. I don't know what, A 6.0 is user score. That tells me it's not worth buying. Maybe renting, but it's not worth buying, and it's a flop. Phil Spencer is really just trying to get y'all out of the Call of Duty, and the Battlefield and stuff like that, and to get y'all into doing something different and buy some Japanese games. And hey, if you into Japanese games, if that's your kind of thing, then you go ahead and get those Japanese games. Because right now, as far as Xbox go, there ain't nothing else to play. And, I'm not going to cheerlead for Sony and stuff like that or whatever, because most of the games that I have are multi-plats, But I believe that PlayStation, is having better exclusives than Xbox. That's what I'm just going to say about that. But I'm never going to cheerlead for PlayStation. You're never going to see that from me. I just think the games play better on the PlayStation. That's it. I mean, right now I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 5 online. And Infinite Warfare, that game, it ain't all that good, but the story is great. But anyway, that's for a different video. Halo Wars 2, MetaCritic, Metascore 80, user score 6.0. To me, that's just not good enough for me to go back and buy an Xbox One. I guess I'll better wait until E3 and see what happens. That's all I can do. Because right now, first and second quarter of 2017 is not looking good for the Xbox. It's the bear and I'm out. Peace.